Hello and welcome to Beyond Ideas podcast. My name is Jorge Suria, and today we are going to talk about Christmas. So, welcome to stay if you like. More of a conscious Christmas is the idea that I'm thinking of. And if you like to stay and you get some value out of this episode and you want to support me, you can do it very simple. You can follow me on social media, subscribe to the channel, give a like, comment, share, whatever you feel like you can do. And if you don't, it's also okay. It's no problem. So welcome to stay and see if you can enjoy this crazy idea that I'm bringing to you today. So yeah, one more year, one more Christmas. Let's see what life brings to you, what life wants to happen. Christmas is a very interesting time, a very interesting day in itself. It moves a lot of things energetically, like in the world, how many people are having dinner, getting with their family, or how many people are even alone, or just emotionally, Christmas is energetically, is just a very strong day of the year and a very strong time of the year. It moves a lot of emotions. And that might be a bit more metaphysical, philosophical, but I believe in that. Without that, independently, it's also a very interesting time for each person because, it moves a lot of things. We all have many memories of Christmas. I'm pretty sure of different years. You may had different experiences, and now that you're an adult, you also live Christmas in a very different way. Not every Christmas is the same, and if you can think back of most Christmas that you had, I'm pretty sure that you still have some memories and some experiences about it. But yeah, that's cool and interesting. And what I wanted to share is that this is a fantastic opportunity to do inner work. Christmas is fantastic for that because of this reason that it moves a lot of things inside normally, whether it is for what you're gonna live this Christmas or for things that you lived in the past and memories. I'm sure you have many, and plenty of memories will come to you before the Christmas day itself, before the dinner if you have dinner, and the day after as well. So it's a fantastic opportunity to do inner work. Actually, you will do inner work no matter what if things come up for you. But if you bring consciousness into it, it's even a greater opportunity because inner work can be done in many ways, of course. But when you get deep emotional experiences, deep triggers, deep experiences, memories, and things like that, that's a sign that life is giving you that you can go deeper. You can go deeper into the layers of like why this memory moves so much in you, or why this experience with your parents moves so much in you, or with your siblings, or whatever. And we will analyze some of the situations there. So independently of what status are you in or how you're gonna live this Christmas, like I said, it's going to move a lot of things. Whether you're going to have family dinner or family gathering, whichever day, that already is going to move a lot of things because getting with family brings up memories, brings up emotions, brings up triggers and all of that. So that's just a fact that is just going to happen. And also it will bring up your inner child as well because we all been kids and we all had presents and we all had these things. And those memories are still alive inside of us and our inner child will become alive in Christmas dinner or Christmas food that you're going to have with your family. Maybe your family is small, maybe your family is big, maybe, it doesn't really matter what situation you're going to live, but I believe it's going to move a lot of things. And maybe you don't have a family. Maybe you are alone, or maybe you are in another country. I am in another country, so I won't be having dinner with my family. And that can also bring a lot of things, right? Especially solitude and loneliness and missing the family, or maybe you are in a fight with your family, or you know someone who's in a fight. I think that many people may know someone who doesn't get along well with their family, who is having trouble, or who doesn't accept them, or maybe they are dead, and whatever situation, right? So yeah, that can also be an opportunity, because this person who is not having Christmas with their family, yeah, that can also bring a lot of emotions and a lot of things, especially if you are living in a city and you see all these people around gathering with family, buying presents, and maybe this person is not receiving it. So yeah, it's also a great opportunity. And if you are also like having dinner, maybe you are in a relationship and you are having also, you're bringing the relationship with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, to your family, and that moves a lot of things, let me tell you. Or maybe it's the other way around. You are going to your partner's family, or it's happening both ways. So I'm pretty sure being with just your family moves a lot of things, but being with someone else's family even moves more, perhaps or perhaps not. And we may go into the details of like what it can move, or perhaps you don't have anyone. You are single, you are alone, and you're happy about it, or you are not. And in that case, it will bring a lot of things as well, no? The typical, if you have been single for some time or you had some failed relationships, the typical comments from the parents, when are you going to find a girlfriend? When are you going to find a boyfriend? Like those kind of comments can also move a lot of things inside of you, because maybe you want to be with someone and you're not finding that person. Maybe you're feeling lonely. And yeah, so whether you are with someone or not, or maybe you are in a relationship or something and you are actually having problems with that person. You actually don't know if that's the right person for you, or you're having fights, or you're having issues, or you're having challenges. Again, that can move a lot of things. And how about this one? Maybe you broke up with someone recently or in the past few years, someone that you were with for a long time or for a shorter time, someone that you fell in love with, or that you even had a family with that person. Maybe you had children with that person and you're not with that person anymore. So again, that's gonna bring a lot of things, right? Who is gonna spend Christmas with you if you have the children? Is it with her? Is it with you? Like whatever situation, right? That is gonna just move a lot of things. If you want to spend Christmas with your kids and your kids are with the other side of the family, or with your partner or your ex, uh, that can move things, and the other way around, right? So yeah, in any situation that you're in, I wish you kindness to yourself, and hope that you make it through if it's a challenging time for you. And if it's not a challenging time and if an enjoyable time, then congratulations. Hopefully it's good for you, and hopefully it also moves things in you. I'm pretty sure it will. And some people may even have family issues, right? They don't really get along well with their father, with their mother, with their siblings. As someone in their family, they don't get along well, and they have to spend that day forcefully of the year with that person they don't really talk with so much, they don't connect with. And yeah, if you're having a fight with someone in your family, yeah, that's moving some things inside for sure. And lastly, maybe there's a new member in your family. Maybe you recently had a child, or maybe you had a new relationship or a new partner and you're presenting that partner to your family. Yes, that's also a great opportunity to create new memories or whatever life wants to happen. So yeah, that's basically the cases that I thought of, the situations that I thought of. And in all of them, I say again that it will move things. It doesn't matter what happens. If life wants something to happen, life will make it happen. And Christmas is a great time for life to make it happen. So, what I invite you, and what I will try to invite you throughout the episode, is to have this inquiry with yourself. How can you live this Christmas, in a more conscious way? And I want to start saying that the invitation here that I'm trying to send you is to not be like a conscious person that, is just meditating, not having any shitty food or any sugar or any pastry, or is yogi and all these things, right? Like I really appreciate and enjoy people who want to live life that way. And I also believe that the majority of people will just indulge over Christmas, whether it is having lots of food or having presents or having lots of cakes and sweets and sort of, and maybe also a lot of alcohol. That's another common one. My invitation is for you to observe yourself. I personally recommend you to not push out or really try to suppress anything, because that's the conscious Christmas that I want to invite you to live. The conscious of like not just being in meditation and not dealing with anything, but more of like, let's see how you behave. Let's see what you like to do. And especially let's see how you deal with your emotions. What are your coping mechanisms? When you get overwhelmed, when your emotions gets rised up, when you get triggered, if you do, a comment from your father, with your mother, your brother, your sister, like whoever made a comment, or something happened to you that you're like, oh my God, oh my God. Even the pain that you may feel there, or the pain that you feel before, just being like, yeah, not looking forward for that day. Or maybe you are following a very healthy diet and you're gonna break that diet maybe during Christmas. Well, whatever it is, my recommendation is to not to just observe what's happening, to observe what's gonna happen inside of you, and to just be conscious of it. That's the consciousness that I want to invite you, without suppressing or without just saying no to things. Whatever happens, it's just a wonderful opportunity to look inside and to get to know yourself better and to get to know your ego and your stories better in a way. And one of the obvious things that may happen is related to childhood and your inner child. Childhood memories, it's very common that they come up during Christmas. You are gonna, see your parents, see presents, all these things perhaps. So, and you had many childhood memories. So it's a great opportunity when the memories come to take a little minute or a couple seconds to connect with it, so that you can actually feel the emotion. You can actually feel what happened when you were 8, when you were 10, when you were 15. And of course, you may be having dinner and you cannot just like stop and do that. But if you give a couple of seconds to whatever memories come during Christmas, or maybe you just want to write it down real quick in the phone, that's a sign that life is giving you. That's just a sign that there might be something interesting for you to look there, especially if those memories come with emotions. Maybe in the middle of the conversations, you are remembering a dinner, a Christmas day, that something really bad happened some years ago in your family. Maybe someone is not there anymore. Maybe your dad is not there anymore, or your mother is not there anymore. And then Christmas brings a lot of memories about that person. Well, again, fantastic opportunity to become conscious, to become aware, and to take the advantage of these, to live Christmas in a conscious way, so that you can become aware of all these memories and all these situations, and you can actually grow, you can actually connect to yourself, and it can be quite meaningful and life-changing, even if you take that opportunity. And also think about your childhood. What kind of Christmas did you get? Was Christmas a happy time for you? Was it not? Did you have some good stuff, or did you have also some challenging stuff? Maybe, you wanted some presents that you never got because your family didn't have the means for it and you felt quite disappointed. Or maybe you had a lot of siblings and a lot of people and you wanted more attention from your parents and they didn't give it to you because they were busy hanging out with the other part of the family. Maybe you had a very small family and you always dream of having a bigger family, being with your cousins, being with your uncle, with your aunt, whatever it is. So yeah, I cannot speak about all the situations. I can only speak about my experience, I guess. But the invitation is that to connect to how You spent Christmas as a child. How were those days? How were those experiences? And that's already one way before going into the Christmas itself, that you can take the opportunity to do that inner work, to observe what life wants you to see, and to actually connect with those memories and those experiences. And one way of connecting is to remember or connect with your body and feel the emotions that you were having when you had that experience, when you got that gift that you really wanted, or even if your parents had an argument during Christmas, if they had a fight, how did that affect you? Because parents' fights, can be quite deep emotionally for a child, especially if the child is like quite excited and quite happy because they want to get the presents, they want to live that, but the parents were just not having a good time and maybe they got divorced later, and how that affected you as a child. So yeah, whatever comes up is just fantastic for you to observe inside. And I'm sure that life will give you and will make you see whatever you need to see. And how about this one? Christmas as a teenager. That is a fantastic one. A teenager who's already growing, wants to become more independent. Maybe they want to show that they're more mature and more adult. They want to have that little beard. They want to prove to their parents that they're older. Or they want to, play with the phone, and maybe they're playing with the phone for 3 hours, 4 hours, and they actually don't want to deal with Christmas at all. And maybe that happened to you, or maybe you have a sibling or a daughter or a son or something that is a teenager, and maybe that is what's happening in Christmas. So again, all those things, whether they are memories from the past or current things, wonderful to observe. But especially also think when you were a teenager, how was Christmas for you? Because teenager is that time of the life where normally many challenges comes up, and normally many challenges with the parents, many challenges with the communication with the parents or the lack of it, and especially challenges with your self identity when you were a teenager. And how, at least I know for myself that I wanted to be treated in a specific way, and it was difficult to get the right way because I didn't also want to communicate. But anyways, I just want to invite you to think about when you were a teenager and see how Christmas was for you. But independently of that, one of the most wonderful things is to observe the triggers. If triggers happen during that event, it's great. It's wonderful. So observe what kind of triggers happen. Do your parents trigger you, your father or your mother? What kind of comments trigger you? Or your siblings, or your wife, or your husband, or your children? It doesn't really matter. It's just, yeah, it is quite common to get triggered in the Christmas experience, in the Christmas dinner, especially if you have a big family, or especially if there's some frictions within it. So yeah, again, just fantastic and wonderful to observe the triggers, so you can actually take something from it, because how much of a waste it is to have a trigger with someone that you love, or someone that you used to love, and you're having a fight or something nowadays, and not get that opportunity, that trigger, to actually get something out of it, to work on yourself, to feel the trigger, to see what happens, and to become aware of your inner child as well, because your inner child may get active when there is a trigger, and also your ego. The ego during Christmas will become active for sure. The ego, the sense of self, of who you are. When someone may be questioning something about your life, or you're sharing something important about your life with your family, and you are not getting that recognition, or you're getting some judgments, or whatever is happening, it will trigger your ego. Your ego will want to defend itself. You may react, especially if there's alcohol involved. That for sure, it will make it harder to hold yourself, perhaps. And when you are in your ego or in your inner child and your trigger, it's very common to really react to whatever is happening. And maybe even, probably, perhaps, parents it's very common for them to overstep your boundaries. Maybe you said you don't want that, or you don't want to be called that way, or you don't want them to comment about this thing. And they do it, and they will overstep your boundaries, and again you may get triggered. So again, just wishing you well for your Christmas, if it's a challenging, if it brings all these triggers and challenges. And again, just wishing you for to become conscious and to bring that awareness on like, why does that happen? And if it's too much, you can always laugh at yourself. That's one of the best ways of dealing with overwhelmness, emotionally overwhelmness during Christmas, because laughing at yourself, in a way, you're kind of laughing at your ego and you're diminishing your sense of self. You're not feeling hurt anymore by that comment because they're commenting to your ego. They're not commenting to you because your presence. That I say often in this channel, and I hope that you get the idea by now. So become aware of your ego and when it gets triggered, when it feels pain during that experience. Also, it may be important for you to get your parents' approval. In a way, for most people, it's always important to get a yes from your parents and to find their approval for your life, for whatever situation you have, whether it's your job or your relationships, or it doesn't matter, for your life situation. It's always nice to get your parents' approval. And if you're not getting it, it will become challenging. And even if you're getting it, so you can become aware of like, are you trying to, does your ego, does your inner child want your parents' approval? And again, it is not to condemn or to demonize. There's nothing wrong here. It's just an invitation to observe and become aware. Are you longing for their love? Are you longing for your sister, your brother love, whatever you're longing for? And it would be fantastic if you spent the whole Christmas being in presence. Presence is always there. The awareness of presence is what leaves us for long periods of time. And I mean by this, the awareness of your breath, the awareness of your heartbeat, the awareness of your body, the awareness of the ego and the stories the ego may have. So yeah, I'm guessing that you are not enlightened like I am not. I think it's quite a journey that not many get to do, to become enlightened. And by enlightened, I mean someone that it's almost always connected to presence, almost always connected to their breath. Maybe you are in that journey, but independently of that, I believe Christmas may be a challenging time to be present, to be in presence, to be in stillness, because there is a lot of stimuli. We have already said or mentioned about all these emotions, all these triggers, the childhood memories, all these things. And then all the conversations that you may have, or preparing the dinner with the family, someone doing things, someone not doing things, someone doing the dishes, someone taking care of this, or whatever it is. Or maybe the food, eating too much. When someone eats too much, I feel it's even harder to be present, because you just have food and food and food and food and food, and the stomach is not even feeling the stomach anymore. You're just like getting a lot. And maybe there's alcohol involved. Maybe there's some wine and stuff, and you have a glass, you have two, you have three, however many you have. So yeah, it is complicated, I believe, or challenging to be present. And the invitation that I want to give you is to just bring this with you. I will not encourage you to meditate during the dinner and to be like, hey, I'm going to meditate now and bring presence and awareness. There are other times for meditation. That's no problem. But you can, and presence is always with you. So you can always connect to it. You can always have little times throughout the experience, throughout the night, that you can, feel that breath during it. And that's a way of calming your nervous system down, especially if you had a trigger, or memories came, or you felt overwhelmed for whatever conversation was happening, or overwhelmed for just eating too much, or something like that. So yeah, you can always invite the connection to yourself, the connection to presence throughout the experience that you are going to have. And you can also be aware of your coping mechanisms. If you feel emotionally overwhelmed during the event and you are just like, "Oh, your father is telling that story again, or they're judging you again, or your mother, or whoever, or oh, that brother of yours is always talking about that thing, that work, and also, or they make a lot of money and you don't, and it doesn't matter, right? But maybe you feel emotionally overwhelmed during the dinner at different times. That argument with your brother or your father or your mother or whoever. Maybe when that happens, the tendency is to, eat more or drink more or argue more or something. So yeah, it's again, all this throughout this episode is just an invitation to observe what happens in you. So and many things will happen. You will not catch all of them, of course, but if you can, at the end of the night, catch one or two things that you learn from the Christmas, that for me, you already lived a conscious Christmas. A conscious in the sense of that you became aware of something that happened to you, that happened in you, a reaction that you did, something that you do, and that you can work on, that you can actually look at it, and maybe you want to change that. And if there is alcohol involved, that's also a very interesting way of observing yourself and observing others around you, whether you drink heavily or whether you don't. But especially if you drink something, because alcohol, I believe, brings some inhibition or decision, or whatever it's called. And people who are in the alcohol, they will say more things that they usually say, especially when they get a little bit tipsy. And when you are with family, maybe it's those times where you can actually go deep with your family. Maybe alcohol is the key to go deeper into memories, into past experiences with your family, with your parents. And yeah, if that happens, you can take it as a great opportunity to enjoy it, because maybe some of the things that are going to be said, they can be hurtful and painful, and that's fantastic, because then you can take that pain and the next day or in that time you can see what happened there and why you felt pain, why you felt hurt, and maybe life shows you something that you can process. Or maybe you have a father, I would say just father, because normally at least father generations have more difficulty of opening up, and maybe that's the time of the year where your father opens up, and maybe that's the time that he says I love you, if he doesn't say it ever, if he's more close to life, or whoever your father is. But again, it's just a fantastic opportunity to become aware and to be present and to be conscious of all these things. And if life gives you that gift of going deeper into a conversation, going deeper into a memory, even healing something with your family, that is awesome. And that's maybe because you are already very open to life, so that can happen to you. Because normally when the ego gets triggered, it will block those healing moments and those conversations. But if you're able to step a little bit away from your ego, when you are getting comments from your father, from your mother, from your parents or your siblings, or someone there that really, overwhelms you or emotionally affects you, if you are able to put your ego on the side and understand that that reaction, that wanting to defend yourself, it's from the ego, and you can actually be okay with it, and you don't need to react to whatever comment someone makes. If you can get past that, maybe you can also get to a deeper level of the conversation, because those things may not affect you anymore. You may actually see something new. So now I will give you maybe a couple tips or a couple hints or clues on how to, live a more conscious Christmas. The first one that I've been saying already all this time is this: become present, become aware of whatever happens there. Be with the emotions, be with the triggers, be with the coping mechanisms that you may have. How much you eat, how much you drink, what do you do, and all of those things. Then another one that I have done sometimes, and I think it's great, is to actually calm yourself down and regulate your system before the event itself whenever you have time. So be in presence in a way, or connect to presence, because we're always in presence. And I recommend you to go to nature. Whatever nature you have around, whether it is the beach or the mountain, the forest, the snow, you can just go for a walk and connect to nature, or you can meditate a little bit. But it is fantastic to, you're gonna go into an experience, or a human experience, a lot of conversations and this and that and this and that. And it is fantastic to also connect to nature before the event or during the event, because we live in a world. There is a sky, there is the sun, there maybe not so much during Christmas, but depending where you live. There is the trees, the plants, the birds, the animals. There's so much nature around us. So it's wonderful to also honor the nature that is holding us. And I personally find very special how I perceive nature during Christmas, because of that energy that I was saying before, that energy that the world is living globally. Globally, the world is living a moment, a very special day for so many people. And nature, I think, also captures that. Maybe there is a great sunset. Maybe snow falls. Maybe, I don't know, something beautiful happens. The sky looks a different way. The clouds look a different way. And yeah, it is fantastic before going into this event that might be very little to do with presence, to just connect to presence and meditation and connect to yourself before you go there, so that when you go there, you can already be inviting life to show you all these beautiful things and beautiful memories that will happen, that will point you to wounds that you may have, to pain, unfelt pain that you may have, and of course to also joy that you may have. And yeah, so you can take the opportunity to just before that event, for 10 minutes or something, just connect to presence. Another one, and I already mentioned it, but I'm going to mention it again, is that if something deep happens, if some really deep memory or emotion happens, a trigger or something like that, and you want to look at it after, or you don't want to forget about it because it's interesting to what's going to happen the next day, how are you going to process all those things, that you can write it down. Write it down really quick on the phone, send yourself a message or something, so that you can remember and you can actually connect with that pain, connect with that trigger, and do a bit of this inner work that I believe it's fantastic. And I am not sure how you feel when you feel vulnerable. I personally find vulnerability very beautiful and at the same time a bit challenging. It's like lowering down the guard, lowering down the armor, and really feeling vulnerable. So, independently of how you feel with vulnerability, but especially if you are someone who doesn't feel comfortable with vulnerability, well, during Christmas, vulnerability may come up. You might need to share something, or you may share something really personal that you haven't shared before, or you may hear something from someone, something really personal and really deep. So, if what my tip in a way is to invite and allow vulnerability and be with it if you can during that experience. Because if that happens, it's a great gift. And vulnerable times and vulnerable moments create really deep experiences. So if you have a vulnerable time, if you have a hard time saying I love you to whoever is there, if you have a hard time saying, connecting with something, a memory or anything like that, it's nice and awesome if you can also bring it up. So yeah, however you want, however life wants to express itself, allowing vulnerability can be an interesting idea. Also, don't take Christmas for granted, because you may leave it, but you don't know if everyone's going to be there next year. You don't know if you're going to be with that partner again next year. You don't know if someone's going to die or not. So whoever is there, just don't take it for granted, because we don't know when someone is going to leave this world. So yeah, just take that opportunity and don't take it for granted. And lastly, I invite you to be kind to yourself, to be kind to your inner child, to be kind to your family, to your parents, to your siblings, cousins, whoever is there with you. Because yes, we may get triggered, we may get emotionally overwhelmed, something may happen, you may get hurt, you may feel pain, and that is totally okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And also, you don't need to suppress it. But at the same time, you can also be kind to yourself. You can be kind to your parents. You don't need to treat them bad. You don't need to say something, that may be hurtful. And if you do, and you regret, you can also be kind to yourself for regretting to speak up your boundaries, to speak up your truth, to say those things that you usually don't say. So whatever happens, I invite you to be kind to yourself. And lastly, you can enjoy what is. So whatever happens during Christmas, it's what life wants to happen. That is what is, whatever happens. So you can be with what is. You can enjoy that may happen, that may not happen. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, I invite you to enjoy what is. And last thing, and then I shut up, I guess, it's to write before the event if you want, and especially to write after Christmas. To write those little things that you may remember, those really important things. How did you feel during it? How were you in your body? How was your experience? Whatever comes alive, take that little moment and that little time, because Christmas doesn't happen every day. And it's a wonderful day that a lot of things may come up. So writing about those experiences, maybe that moment you have with your father, that moment you have with your mother, that moment you have with someone, that moment you have with yourself, something happened for you. So yeah, I invite you to write about it, because it's a wonderful way of connecting to yourself or doing some inner work and processing some stuff that may want to be processed. So whatever happens, I wish you well. I wish you that you have a wonderful time. And if you had some interesting idea from this video, if you liked some of it, if you got some value and you want to support me, you can do it very easily. You can follow me on social media, subscribe to the channel, give a like, comment, share the video, however you want. It's fantastic. And yeah, and I usually share a bit of me on the last part of the episode, so I will take that opportunity for myself. And I want to share that it felt great this episode. I was actually very happy and excited to write, to talk about Christmas in itself. However, unfortunately, this is the beautiful thing of life. I had an expectation, I had a dream, and it didn't really become true, because, I felt like it didn't fully flow inside of me. I had to stop many times to read my notes. And when I was writing my notes, everything was flowing like crazy. Like I really wanted to speak about this and this and that. And I had so many ideas. So yeah, it is what it is. But I'm happy that I got to speak about it. And if it brings any value to anyone, so they can live Christmas in a different way, or especially they can bring some consciousness into Christmas, then that is already a big win. I know for sure that after recording this, I will be living a more conscious Christmas. I will want to be more aware of what happens. I will not have it with my family, but I will have it with some other friends and stuff. So I will try to bring this energy of presence and this energy of like, see what becomes alive. I will call my family, and maybe something happens, some memory comes up and something. So I hope that I do this for myself. I will follow my own invitation. So yeah, that was nice. And otherwise, I'm grateful that I did this episode and that I went for it. And also, I'm grateful to see that sometimes expectations don't match and expectations don't happen the way I was hoping for. And it is what it is, and it is okay. So yeah, thank you again for your time. Hope that you got something cool out of this, and I wish you a happy Christmas. See you.